right. Hello, Anna. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the new version of the Videocast. Looking good, right?
Yeah, Halder, hello, and yes, looking fancy, new year, new look. So we are ready to start with this new modern videocast. We're gonna talk about different things in this episode, and I give it back to you because you might want to show something else.
I mean, I just want to show off what we're up to. I mean, honestly, I am here. Just to be honest, I'm here stuck, sitting in my bed in quarantine, home quarantine in Beijing. Unfortunate enough to be wandering in the wrong hutong last week, scanning the wrong QR code, and I got a phone call a little bit later saying you are grounded. So that's what I am. But fortunately, only for one more day, and then I'm out. So I was desperate. This is the last day of the month. We need to do our video cast. All my equipment is all stuck in our new office, which I cannot go right now. So just to compensate a little bit for the lack of equipment, I thought maybe we can spruce up the look a little bit.
So I think you had a good idea, Halder. It looks very nice, and I mean the timing was quite interesting because I'm not in lockdown. I'm still in Italy and here, really free to move, and it's really one of those moments that I can say I'm glad I'm not in Shanghai because life is much easier here. While in other moments I was so desperate to be in China, and here was a big nightmare. Anyway, I was saying that the time is interesting because also my camera was damaged and I'm not able to use it. But you had this very nice idea, and come on, we can say we still look professional from another point of view. The look is very nice.
Yep, exactly. Yeah, we try to dazzle them with the packaging instead of our fancy equipment. Yeah, no. The tables have turned a little bit. You guys were going through quarantines in Europe last year, and here in China things went on normally. But now it's the other way around. Everybody are back to normal. But in Europe, sort of slowly, and here things have been a little bit difficult for a while. And it has been impacting us here in EURAXESS China, clearly. I don't know what we were saying in the last video cast in April, but one of the things we wanted to do, for example, was a researcher's night for a researcher here in Beijing. Was one of the things that we had planned for the beginning of May, and clearly that didn't really go through because around that time that we were holding it, actually everything went into sort of ever strictening lockdown here, and it was no way to do anything like that. But that doesn't mean that we can't do a lot of things. We are in good practice when it comes to working around lockdowns and COVID situations. This current phase of the EURAXESS, where Anna and I started working together, was basically started right when the COVID was breaking out in China in 2020 and then around the world. So we were good. We planned all kinds of virtual reality stuff and our first webinars and so on. And we are just in practice, I think. And we've been doing that this month, and the experimentation never stops. Maybe we can, maybe this time we can share a little bit what we've been doing. Maybe specifically, I think it would be interesting to look at our, what is probably the 4th edition of the Marie Curie Fellowship webinar that we've been doing since the 2020 COVID lockdown started. That was the first time that we started that. And yeah, we did one last week, didn't we, Anna?
Yes, we did. We must say that is a classic event of ours. It's not one of those in which we experiment, but it's always successful, and it has always been ever increasingly successful, I think I can say. We were last Thursday with this wonderful speaker, Lily Kankaya from EURAXESS Malta, who is really an expert. Halder was just telling me a couple of minutes ago that he had been working with EURAXESS Malta years ago, and Lily was there. And you could see from her presentation that she was really competent and familiar with the topic. So we really had a lot of insights and hints and tips and like how to avoid the mistakes. So it was, I think, a lot of good information and good resources for potential applicants. So maybe we can watch a bit of what went on last Thursday, Halder.
Yep. I was thinking, like, the way that I was thinking about doing it, we're just a little bit winging it right now, like improvising. But maybe we can play the introduction video of that event. It was a pretty nice one that we did. And then we could go and hear from Lily herself a little bit what they were working on during the webinar. So let me switch over to that. And to do that, I'll...
Did you just finish your PhD?
Are you looking for an opportunity to boost your research career?
The Myers Sklodowska EURAXESS postdoctoral fellowships are some of the most fellowships granted to early researchers, the highest award for individual funded by the European Commission.
These fellowships offer the opportunity of moving abroad to join a prestigious research institution or company. You can be funded to move to Europe or anywhere else in the world, and even to restart your research career after having had a break.
The postdoctoral fellowship allow researchers from China to do a 1 or 2 year research project anywhere in Europe, where the focus is not only on excellent science, but you and your future career ambitions.
Did you know that since 2014, 414 Chinese researchers have gone to a new country in Europe to do their research by the Myers Sklodowska EURAXESS fellowships?
The deadline for this year's fellowship is coming up. Why wait for much longer? Boost your research career now.
Have you already started your application? Do you have any doubts, or do you need advice on how to complete it? Or are you just curious about it?
Learn more by joining our upcoming webinar and get training from experts from Europe. Everybody will have a chance to ask questions.
Join our webinar by registering today on china-EURAXESS.org.
About the postdoc. Today I have prepared few presentations for you. First, I will start with introduction about the postdoctoral fellowship call. We'll go also through some evaluation process. And then I'll go to a second presentation, which is more on tips and tricks, how to prepare a successful proposal. And then we'll continue with another presentation, which is more on the common mistakes that usually have been done by applicants applying for that call, so that you can avoid them. But before we start, I would like I will send in the chat now a link, which is Map Your Location, is a Padlet tool. Let me send it in the chat. And I would like...
I guess if you really want to see Lily discuss the topics that we just mentioned, you could just go onto our website right now, or our YouTube channel, or Yoku channel, or plenty of other places, and you could like watch the whole webinar. It's about 1.5 hours. But Lily is really nice and knows a lot about these kind of things, answered a lot of questions, and I think it was a really big success, wouldn't you say, Anna?
Yes, definitely, Halder. And even just from the number of participants, really almost 300 joined us, and they stayed until the end of the webinar. It was a lot of presentations and a lot of questions, as you said. And I mean, I think we can really say that postdoctoral fellowships are really a funding opportunity of interest to Chinese researchers. So this kind of opportunities of asking your own questions, like to solve the issues in preparing your application and make sure that you're available, and just having like advices on like how to make sure that you don't get caught into common mistakes when applying are really super useful. So yes, and since like the topic of this videocast, like the title that you put is what on earth is up with EURAXESS China, I may. we can also say that we have been trying to reach out to Chinese researchers that have been following our webinars on Marie Curie postdoctoral fellowships, or individual fellowships, as they were called before, that joined us since we started going online in 2020. And we found some of them who were successful, right, Halder?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, like, it is really, really, how to say, rewarding to do this exercise. So throughout the years, we've had a lot of events, training sessions. We traveled around China, training people to find out how they can go for these mobility fellowships and come to Europe. And over the years, like we said in their video at the beginning, there have been like hundreds of researchers from China that have been able to come to China using these channels. And we never know how much is because due to our efforts and whatnot. And I mean, like, some of them definitely were. For example, the people that we mentioned in the video are people that we knew from before had gotten the fellowships and so on, because we had like connection with them. So that was really cool. Now, since COVID started in 2020, we started focusing on all these webinars, and we've been hitting this like frequent webinars where we'll keep people up to date when it comes to the individual fellowship of the Marie Curie actions and the postdoctoral fellowship in Horizon Europe, as well as actually the innovative training networks, the doctoral networks. These have been super popular, been attracting a lot of people. They've also allowed us to sort of put up these big VJet groups here in China with a lot of the potential applicants have been coming in there with hundreds of people right now. And 2 years down the line, up around like currently, we basically have like this big stock of people that have come to our webinars, and we just ask them, is anybody here that got it? You know, are there anybody here that turned successful like in applying? And we found, like last night, we found at least 6 people that all said that they had it, and also 3 doctoral fellows as well. And it was just so much more than you would have thought, and that's probably just the tip of the iceberg. One of them told me like he is aware of like 11 other Chinese that got it. Every year there's about 40-50 people that get the individual fellowship here from China. So we thought like, oh my god, it really shows how amazingly impactful these events can be for people. And they were also just telling us like how much they appreciated it. So that was really, really cool. And we thought, how about next month we are doing our newsletter? How about we interview some of them and like have them share their story, especially those that have already started their fellowship? And who knows, maybe in our next video cast we might get like a live interview with some of them. We can at least try, right, Anna? That's the plan.
Yeah, of course. I mean, if they agree to do that, why not? I think it could be fun. And what it's better for someone who is currently applying for one of those fellowships than to hear the experience of those who already did it. It's just like so much added value. And the only thing I'm afraid about is that if the people we interview share their contacts, they might have a storm of messages from people applying. So I should warn them before we do it. But no, I think it would definitely be something that we should do. That is on the to-do list for our next video cast next month. What do you think?
Yeah, and I mean, absolutely. Yeah. A lot of people are always interested in meeting successful applicants. But honestly, in my experience, I think people around here are quite happy to share their experience. So I don't think that's going to be a big issue for most of them. But what is good, if you are a successful applicant, you're Chinese, you're hearing this, if you want to come on the video cast, you want to join us, I mean, like, it could really tick the box in your Marie Curie Fellowship outreach sort of section. I know when you're writing your report, you need to sort of explain what sort of outreach you're doing. You can like say EURAXESS China Videocast. I don't know. So that's like a added bonus for those of you, as well as the exposure. Everybody knows that the audio EURAXESS China monthly videocast is the most viewed monthly videocast by any EURAXESS hub in Asia, probably. Because we're happy, we're lucky enough that India doesn't really run a videocast at the moment. So
I'm pretty confident you're right, Halder. I'm really pretty confident.
So it's a big exposure opportunity, obviously. Yeah, no, this is cool. This is not the only thing we've been doing. We've been also working on a lot with the Europeans. We were planning in May to do all of these events for the thematic networks. They were supposed to take place in Shanghai, and we had to postpone them. So instead, we've been doing like a series of events with the Europeans here, allowing people to catch up and discuss and network and so on through online means. We had like a meeting of the platform of European researchers networks in China that was really good. And we were lucky enough to have with us Neil Lovelord, the new science counselor of China. That has been super good, and coming to a lot of these meetings, meeting the researchers here and sort of connecting with them. So like kudos to him for that. And we also had our NERPIMEC meeting as well, right? Not our. The NERPIMEC people had their first sort of proper meeting. I don't know if you want to like share a little bit about that.
Yeah, of course. I mean, I think, in this time that in China it's not possible to have physical events and networking, people really feel the need of connecting anyway. So our group of European researchers in biology and medicine in China decided to meet for what they call the meet and greet. So it was, a little bit of an alternative to what was supposed to happen physically in Shanghai in May, and obviously wasn't possible. And so it was a way to connect to each other, because the network grew a lot. They started out 1 year ago with how many? Like a dozen of people in Beijing, and maybe another dozen or less online. And now it's almost 70 people. So they had to get to know each other. They had the time to introduce a little bit what they do. And, that is, of course, how you start to possibly work together or connect with like partners of your research institutions, and how joint project starts and new ideas develop. So we were lucky enough to be invited, and we also helped them with something that I think also like looks very fancy and professional, Holder. So I think we should show, which is the nermivec.eu website. That is the website of the network, where all the members have their own profile, and where you can get to know who they are and get in touch. So Holder, would you like to show it? I would say that it's a kind of a platform, and where like everybody can move in this space. So we had the Shanghai room, we had the coffee room, we had the biology and medicine room. So you move around, you can enter rooms and chat and network in small groups together with the people that are in the same room. And so it's pretty cool. You move around, and then when you meet someone else or you meet a group, then there's a kind of change of view, and so you can see the other person like real video, and have this kind of like small breakout rooms with more like intimate conversations, and then like at some point you can just like get out, close the door behind you, and enter another room. It allows a form of networking that otherwise wouldn't be possible on Zoom. So it was interesting, and also the fact that you can move in the different rooms. They have like different thematics. It's also something that we can try to experiment more, maybe using other platforms. But I think it's a little bit of different and a little bit more fun than a normal Zoom meeting. And actually, I thought they enjoyed a lot because some stayed even 1 hour and a half after the proper meeting. So that was quite long. I guess that everybody, was also looking for a form of communication and an opportunity to just like chat and share views and try to together find ways to face the current situation better, and yeah, work together in a way that works well for everybody. The circumstances of some of our colleagues really are not the easiest in this moment. So anyway, that is one of the things we are experimenting about. And Haldor is also exploring a whole new area related to virtual reality, aren't you, Haldor?
Yeah, there's a lot of things going on there. I just noticed that I muted myself. Ugh. So like when I came back, I was muted, so they might not have known. But what I know she's talking about was this after we had like a meeting of European researchers on Zoom, really good. But afterward, we went into this platform, and it was really nice. It was like a video game. It was really cool. You know what I like best about it? When you're in Zoom, you can raise your hand, you can talk, you can like maybe respond or whatever. This experiment that you just described at Wonder.me, this is more like it replicates a little bit more like the feeling what when you're actually doing like networking, like during coffee breaks or after an event. So like it really is like that, because you kind of are going around, and as soon as you get close to somebody else, you create a circle, and you'll see their we have webcams. You can go out, you can join a group, they're talking, and you can like pitch in and then go out again. And this is actually how it worked, and I was kind of surprised how well it replicated it, because like there were a couple of people just discussing something in the corner, people that might not have been able to catch a moment to have this kind of discussion. There was like 6 or 7 people discussing the situation in here. I met with these 2 researchers, one both in here in Beijing, and I was talking to them, and then I went away, and I went to another group where it was like 6 researchers, and then when I came back, I noticed to my surprise that they were still talking to each other. So I just jumped into that again, and they were talking to each other in Dutch. And I was like, oh, yeah, one of them is Dutch, another one is Belgian. They both speak like a similar language. So I was like, oh, it's like really like when you're in this kind of group and you're like talking. And then it's like, oh, he's back. Let's switch back to English. It was fun. It was interesting. And we will try to see if we can do more of like digital networking and so on in the future. Maybe with VR and other available tools that we have. So that's cool. So this means that we've been working a lot with the European researchers. We had the perception meeting, we had the PERC meeting with the platforms. We had our meeting with the we joined the meeting of NERBIMEC, the Biology and Medicine Network, and we are also planning in June to do a survey, right, Anna?
Yes, we are. We're planning to do a survey a little bit like on the same concept of those that we did in the last years, and that will be addressing European researchers to understand what is the situation of European researchers in China. To understand, who used to work in China before COVID and is not anymore, who is working with their Chinese institutions but from another location, maybe in Europe, who is in China but is planning to move. So we want to understand a little bit, where they are, what they're doing, what are their plans, and also what we can do to help them out. What are the messages that it will be worth for us to bring to Brussels, bring to the European delegation in this situation that is quite peculiar. So we want to have a picture, an updated picture of the situation of European researchers in China. Right, Halder?
Yeah, exactly. It's a time for another survey. I think we did it a couple of times during COVID, and I think there's like a bit of a milestone ahead of us now when it comes to mobility in China, and we just want to make sure that we're all up to date and know what's going on. So if you're a European researcher here in China, we encourage you to join our survey and share with everybody how things are, etc. That'll be really good. Whenever that happens, we'll let everybody know in the Videocast group. We will surely share that through our other social media channels and our newsletter and our flash notes, etc. So stay tuned for that. I think this is good for today. Short and sweet, right, Anna?
Yes, Halder. I'm not sure it was super short. We always tend to talk a lot, but it was sweet and also fancy. So I think we can close it here and be happy about it.
Let's do that. Goodbye to everybody. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.